Hey, good evening, everybody. Some fantastic animation there from the other morning. And we've pretty much cleared out, and you can see the moon up there. Just to the left of the moon, you can see Saturn. And down towards the very bottom is Antares and a flight from the University of North Dakota, Cessna 172, that went by. Other than that, pretty quiet out there tonight, and yeah, look at that cold air advection coming in throughout much of the Great Plains. This is probably the first really strong shot of... Get the microphone set up. This is a pretty good shot of polar air we have coming down. This whole area forms boxes, and we talked about this a couple of days ago. See those little boxes formed by the thickness and the isobars. So we can actually form up quite a few of those boxes right here in the Great Plains, and even a few more out in the Rockies. So this whole area through here, this is a region of cold air advection coming in from the North Plains. Up to the north, though, yeah, there is cold air coming in, but the gradient is weaker. It's more spread apart, so the advection is not quite as strong. But the isobars are very close together, so the winds are definitely blowing, but not bringing in significantly colder air up there. Most of that's moved all the way down into Nebraska and Kansas. Okay, so where's the front? I think we're going to go with something like that. From Georgia, Florida, yeah, probably northern Florida right there, down into the Bay of Campeche there. And what we have coming into the plains is a mixture of Canadian polar air and Pacific air, and they've kind of merged. And that's what we have moving in. And this right here, this is the Pacific High itself. And just off to the northwest, we can see the next system about to make landfall there in British Columbia. Warm front is very easy to pick out right there. And there's the cold front. And this will be crossing over northern British Columbia, northern Alberta over the next couple of days. That'll probably lay down some snowpack up there and possibly help generate even more polar air. So we'll watch for that possibility on the models. There's the thickness, or I'm sorry, the similar to thickness, but this is actually the theta. This is the potential temperature, and we can see that the coldest air is concentrated there in Minnesota and Iowa. Also quite a bit of polar air coming down into the Mississippi River Valley, and then out to the west, the air mass is a little bit warmer out in that region. So it looks like probably the western edge of that Canadian air right there along the Rockies. And let's head into the other charts, keep things moving along. Yeah, on the mesoscale models, there's not going to be a whole lot to look at. Let me bring this down, because everything is kind of dominated by the advection coming through the area. Let me take a look at these maps. I think these... Yeah, these are this morning's maps. So right now, this is about what it looks like. You can see that cold air coming down. And the main low-pressure area there in Michigan around Detroit. Yeah, pretty much right there around the Bay City area. So it looks like the cold front is moving through Ohio. Just at first glance, could be there. I'm seeing a little bit of a gradient further east, but we'll check that out on the surface plot. The northwestern U.S. looks like it's dominated by high pressure in that region. Light and variable winds there. And let's take a look at California there. We got northerly flow back across Nevada. So we're starting to set up the Santa Ana conditions once again. And you can see there in the deserts north of LA, around Palmdale and Edwards, we've got an east wind over that area, and north winds through the Colorado Basin. Central Plains dominated by, again, cold air coming from the north. Same thing in Texas, looking like this. The data looks a little bit suspicious. Oh yeah, that's the new shot of cold air we've got coming down. We did have a front come through earlier yesterday, and you can see the north winds there along the Gulf Coast. But this is the second reinforcing shot here, and that's about almost to Tyler, almost to Waco, and into the hill country right there, and behind it, cooler temperatures back there. All right, let's check out the southeastern U.S. We've got the front. Looks like it's making progress eastward through Florida, about to come up on Jacksonville and close to Tampa there. Behind that, 50s, very cool air. And then the northeastern U.S. We've got southeasterly winds and relatively warm temperatures there, low to mid 60s. And that warm wedge of air reaches all the way back across Ontario towards the low pressure area itself over Michigan. And there's a look at the polar orbiter data showing, I wonder if we can see any of that smoke there. Let me bring up the opacity layers. Right, so there we go. We can see that. Looks like possibly a little bit of smoke in the interior, but not very well concentrated. California, let me put up the coastlines. Yeah, there's California coming up there. And at this point right now, it looks fairly good in that area. But with that Santa Ana back, low relative humidities, probably a bit of a fire risk coming back. Okay. Other than that, pretty clear across much of the U.S. And earlier today, you can see that front making its way southward across Oklahoma. And a little bit of unstable cumuliform clouds back behind that boundary. Tropics looking pretty quiet. A little tropical depression off of Nicaragua there. And let's... Oh yeah, we've also got the front coming up on the Carolinas, and we do have a tornado watch out for that area. I don't think we have any viewers in North Carolina, but I'll take a look at a few of the mesoscale analysis products in a bit, and maybe I can pull this up right now. Okay, let's see here. Okay, we'll bring up the experimental graphics for the Carolinas from SPC there, and we can see an MCS moving through that area there. Looks like a little bit of a kind of a bow echo shape on that segment there in South Carolina coming up on the Myrtle Beach area. This other segment further north in North Carolina and Virginia looks fairly disorganized. But as far as the numbers, I guess I can't put all that on the same screen. We can take a look at the Cape. I'll just put up the most unstable. Most of the high instability is in South Carolina there, 1,500 to 2,000 capes, and weaker as you go further north. So it looks like Probably South Carolina, the main risk there. And let's check out helicity. Yep, we do have a little bit of helicity there, 200 to 300. Surface winds back there in eastern North Carolina. You can see they're out of about 150 at about 10 to 15, and then up at 850. They transition to out of the south, so mostly just a little bit of directional shear there, but mostly speed shear affecting that area today. All right, let's head into, I guess, the satellite data. Oh yeah, there's the water vapor imagery showing the shot of dry air coming in from Canada. So you can see that's a pretty deep fetch of cool dry air coming in. And the infrared imagery looking like that right there. Okay, let's see how things look in chat. Kind of a light night here tonight. I got Ron Chalfant, Sue M here. Nice end to your birthday. Happy birthday there, Sue M. Burl H. attended the Quad Cities WFO open house. Good deal. Nice, but they were shortchanged on their safe room. Only good to EF4. Ryan Toomies is here, and Kevin McKinney. Can anything survive an F5 directly? Well, a concrete slab can. A lot of your heavy concrete structures will survive an F5. So I would have no problem being in a concrete room with a large tornado there. Burl H., Ron Chalfant, Bill Johnson saying it was only 51 in Milwaukee, looking for 40s by the weekend. Offshore flow where Ron Chalfant is there in California. David Holcomb is here. First tornado on the ground today. Awesome. Good to hear you caught that there. And using Doppler. Okay. All right, let's move on into the model data. We're mostly dominated this evening by pretty much cool dry air coming in, so there's not a whole lot to talk about unless you're on the East Coast. However, even that is mostly affecting only New England and Pennsylvania, Maryland, in that area. Let me bring up the radar. I'm going to pull in one of the local radars for maybe North Carolina. So this is going to be Wilmington here. And we've got, pretty disorganized thunderstorms. So not much capping in that area. So you're pretty dependent there on localized spin-ups, microscale and mesoscale cyclogenesis that will help back the winds locally. And where that happens, you can get a brief tornado out of this stuff. But nothing evident right at this moment. Further down the line in Charleston, a lot of the storms are offshore, and only a few more up in the Myrtle Beach area. Those will probably be moving offshore in the next 15 or 20 minutes. But those also, they do have a discrete appearance. So there is a little bit of a window for each one to produce severe weather, but it does look like they are starting to line out a little bit at this time. So I guess we should just go ahead and head right into the forecast. So I guess we can start with the European data. Why not? They did pretty well during hurricane season. So this is this morning's analysis right there, and you can see that cold front on its way through Oklahoma and Kansas. So this is the shot of cold air that's pushing rapidly into Texas, Arkansas, and Missouri. So by tomorrow morning, it's going to come into most of the southern U.S. and the Appalachians, and very deep development of that system in Michigan. We go from practically nothing this morning to development there over Detroit right now, and then tomorrow morning over the Sault Ste. Marie area. So probably what we have there is a cold front. Yep, set up kind of like that right there. The warm front probably further to the north, something like that. And then from there we have an occluded front coming back into that low right there. And behind it, very large high building in. So that's going to have a huge effect on the weather this week, pretty much all over the country. So for tomorrow, westerly winds there. Actually, this is for Wednesday. And the old occlusion moving up into Canada there. More development, and yeah, look at that. There's the next system coming in from Canada there. So new outbreak, and this is likely to be even cooler. And then by Friday, that outbreak pushing into Texas. And then for Saturday, looks like the main thrust of this cold air advection is down into Texas, Arkansas, and the lower Mississippi Valley area there. Okay, so that's about all we have for the European model. And let me head into the GFS there. All right, there we go. So there's the isobars and the thickness. So starting out for this evening, there's our system right there over Michigan, and you might want to watch the development on this overnight. Yeah, there it goes, developing. And then by midnight, looks like we got about a 989 millibar low. That's a huge change from 6 hours earlier. And then by 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, yeah, huge low over the UP of Michigan right there. And just a little bit of snow up there north of Duluth. So the 540 line coming all the way down into Arkansas. Lots of cold air on the way south. And the rest of that cold front will be clearing Pennsylvania and the east coast of Virginia and the Carolinas there tomorrow. And then for tomorrow evening, cold front continuing to work eastward. A lot of the cold air feeding northward into this occlusion that's starting to die off right there in the Great Lakes. And then for Wednesday night, our next system building way up there to the north. And you can see that coming together there by Thursday night. Pretty good outbreak of cold air on its way south. There it is. And then for Friday, yeah, that outbreak will be moving into Texas, much of Mississippi and Tennessee there for the start of the weekend. And yeah, on the backside of that system, snow for the northwest half of Wisconsin there. And that's going to be late Friday night. After that, things are pretty quiet, just more cold air advection, and looks like a little tropical depression off the coast of Miami there. And then going into next week, looks like another shot of cold air, but this appears to possibly be going more southeast. Yeah, that's just feeding into the back of that system right there for Monday and Tuesday. And this is Halloween here. Let's see what things look like. Yeah, this is Halloween evening. Looks like very cool and westerly winds across the Great Lakes. Very nice weather, kind of brisk, and light winds across the south. And just kind of mild and not much weather in the western U.S. And then we go into the second and third. Yeah, there's another cold air outbreak moving across the Great Lakes, but in Texas, south flow gets going again. So things are going to start warming up. And that may start bringing up the moisture from the Gulf. You can see the Gulf is starting to open up here on the 4th and 5th. So we'll have to watch for the possibility of severe weather with the next system. November brings an enhanced risk of severe weather to the southern U.S. Pretty much this area right here. Little Rock, Memphis, Huntsville, Shreveport, all that area. Climatologically, that's a time for severe weather there. So here's the next system, and looks like indeed we do get some showers and storms going by Monday. This is on the 6th of November, though. This is kind of a ways out here. But yeah, another blast of cold air there. And the very last frames bringing even more cold air south. So yeah, we're starting to finally transition into winter here. And probably in another couple of weeks, things will be looking quite a bit different weather-wise. Okay, so not much weather today. That's about all I got here. So I'll take one last look at the chat. Solid rain in Indiana from Sue M there. I'm sure Ryan will probably be getting some of this weather from the front, and also that tropical depression moving off the coast there later next week, or later. When is that going to hit? Let me see. Yeah, that's a ways off. That just kind of grazes the Key West area for the weekend. So there's still enough uncertainty in that where that could cross across Florida, but at this point we just don't know. And the European model, yeah, there's the frame for early Sunday. It looks like something across Cuba. And then Monday it brings that across the Bahamas. So it looks like nothing there for Florida. Okay, well, that's about all I got for tonight. Some pretty calm weather, except if you're in the Great Lakes area or New York. For the rest of us, cold air advection and just kind of a nice, cool night for tonight. Okay, I hope that helps you all out. And that's probably about all I got. So hopefully you all have a good evening, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care.